And Marco Rubio, another young man, and everybody was talking about him being too young. Well, he's roughly the same age as Jack Kennedy when he was elected
Oh,
president.
really? Really?
So all of those things and the threading, but the national media and others, if anyone becomes what they feel a threat to the liberal agenda, then they do everything to do what I call character assassination.
Yeah, yeah. Now, let's see. Here's another quote from Phyllis Schleifer. There is a liberal idea sweeping into the schools nationwide that expression of support for anything American is wrong. Liberal educators and administrators teach their students that America is no better than any other country, and or that it is worse than other countries.
And this has been the message from Obama from the very beginning, that we're a colonial power and we need to be brought down to our knees for all of the past sins that have been committed. And we had nothing to do with anything in the Middle East. It was the British and the French, with the fall of the empire of Ottoman, that divided it and drew all the boundaries, and all the others that have created a lot of the things that we're having to deal with today.
Caucuses that are coming, like
Right.
say 9 in Jefferson County and maybe 100 or so in the rest of the state. And the thing is, we have gotten permission from the executive director of the Jefferson County Republican Party that we can have a table in where the caucus is and give out our DVDs, our literature, our bumper stickers. And if you can help us with that, we would love to hear from you right now. If you could call the number 893-2444 and let us know. We'll send you the material, and all you have to do is sit there, and if you can't do it, whatever time you can do it, it's better than nothing. So if you can just stay there for 15 minutes, it would be good. And that number again is 893-2444, and you can help us, get people working on these issues.
Exactly, and there's 9. Remember, there's 9 precincts that there'll be voting locations on.
Yeah.
And each one will require volunteers for that. So,
Yeah.
And then you can work with your friends about who's going to come
Yes.
in for what hours, like 10 to 2 or 2
Yeah.
to 1 and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a very important thing, because other candidates will have a representative there basically doing the same thing in behalf of their individual candidate as you go in. So it's very important to put this kind of information and make it available to a larger audience than normal.
Absolutely, because people don't realize that there are a lot of powerful people trying to get rid of our Constitution and get rid of our freedoms and tell you you have to be a Muslim and you have to pay for Muslims coming in here to basically take over a lot of the country.
Right. Well, Dr. Salmon, this all started in the 60s. We started talking about diversity and all of the other things related to that, and everybody can remain their own culture and all that. But that was never what America was.
No.
You came here to become an American. You wanted the right to freedom. You wanted the right to choose and all of those things, but they've now tried to take every one of those away. But this thing about diversity and compassion, and though you can't say this, and the political correctness has reached a level where it's like a cancer. It keeps growing.
Right.
They intimidate anybody that says anything or even questions, is this right or wrong? You can't do that. So that's a major thing that has to be turned around, and it can only be done by the massive number of free people in the United States that recognize that this has got to stop.
Absolutely. And, I'm excited because, that's, to me, what the Governor Bevin got elected. That was a giant step in the right direction. And that was a miracle.
Right.
That the people that believed in God got out and voted, and it was a miracle the way that happened. And now we're at another election right now, choosing the leaders and what direction our country will go in. And it's really important that you go to find out the place that you're going to vote. And like I say, you can go to RPK, Republican Party of Kentucky, but you just put in the initials, no dots.
Right.
rpk.org/caucus. And bingo, it'll take you right to that website, and then you punch in where. You click on the button where, and then it will bring up another page where you can type in your address. And now, if you can't do it, call this number, 893-2444. That's the number here, and we'll try to help you figure out where you go to vote. But it's really important. Make an announcement in church. Tell everybody that this is really coming up, and we've started a miracle, and we need to keep it going. And so tell everybody to, if you call that number, 893-2444, and we'll show you how to get your precinct where you're going to have the vote for the caucus, and we'll also let us know if you can sit behind the table and give out free DVDs and literature, bumper stickers.
And we got another critical part of, we talk about November again, with the local. All the members of the House of Representatives and half of the Senate are going to be up for election. And this time, for the first time, the Republicans are in a position to take control, and it's never been controlled particularly by the Democratic Party. It's been controlled by what we call the trial bar, the trial lawyers who've dominated it and controlled it. And it's all about their survival and all of that. And it's a critical time. And if Governor Bevin's programs need to be implemented and brought, it's extremely necessary that they get control of the House.
Yeah.
It'll be the first time in 91 years.
Yeah.
And there are 4 different state representatives that have withdrawn, that there's be a special election again in March. On these legislative races, depending on whether you live in one of those districts or not. But this is an important juncture in Kentucky's history,
absolutely,
as well as the national election and all the others. So it's important that you follow that. And unfortunately, roughly 50% of the people that are eligible to vote are all that ever bother to go to the polls. And they think, what difference does my vote make?
Makes all the difference in the world.
As it happened in several elections over the history of this country, where one vote changed the outcome and the direction of this country.
Yeah. So everybody is important. You are important.
Right.
And your vote is important. And I mean, there are people that are trying to bring us down, form a one world government with the United Nations in charge of everything. Well, it's going to happen if we don't get out and vote and open our big mouth and say something.
It's just exactly what's happening in our medical. I've noticed this year, all of a sudden, the penalties for not having medical care and all the other insurance are happening. And it's just, someone once said not too long ago that give me liberty or give me Obamacare. And this is what's happening, and this is where the government's taking control of everything. And it's imperative that these things be corrected.
Right. It says here, people are sick and tired of politicians that say they're conservative, but when they get into office, they vote funding for Planned Parenthood, they vote funding for Obamacare, they vote funding for more and more Muslims to come in and take all of our jobs. Right. And all of this stuff, well, you know, we need people that have a voting record that will, you know where they stand. It's easy to stand up there and say, oh, I'm for this, I'm for that. But if you don't have a voting record or something behind you, you can't trust them. That's how we got into all the trouble.
Well, we listened to all their verbal statements on television and all their little conferences. But if you take somebody like Christie, who actually made contributions to Planned Parenthood, who
Oh, no.
and personally is opposed to gun. He's in favor of gun control. Those are the things that don't come to the surface unless you take time to research these candidates and find out who they really are.
Maybe I'll say one more time. We need you to call us right now. There'll be somebody to answer the phone, or else there'll be an answering machine. Call us right now if, number one, if you can help us hand out literature at the caucus meeting on March 5th from 10 to 4, or if you need help finding where you vote for the caucus meeting. So if you need help on all of this, call our number, 893-2444. Call it right now, and we'll work with you and get all the information you need. People are beginning to wake up, though, I think.
And our whole future is really at stake, and that of our children and grandchildren.
Yes.
If this is not turned around in this particular year, the odds of having it reversed over the next 8 is going to be all but impossible.
Yeah.
And I've always worried, because I'm a history buff, because there are 29 other civilizations that are buried in the past that never had an external force. It was always internal.
They rotted from the inside out.
Right. And it was by complacency, sitting on their hands and not doing anything to turn it around.
Well, we ask God to help us to get involved in all of these issues. And, we got an organization that's a survival organization. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to survive. And it's questionable if we're going to make it.
Right.
But with God's help and with your help and everybody working together, we need everybody, don't you think?
Exactly, and this is like the old hymn, Onward Christian Soldiers. And we have to become soldiers in this battle for the rights, not only of religious freedom, but for the freedom of the country as a whole.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's a good summary statement of where we stand. And don't forget our phone number, 893-2444. And you can call right now. There'll either be somebody to answer the phone, or there'll be an answering machine that you can leave a number. And we need people to help us just sit there in the caucus room and hand out free literature. It's all free. We're going to provide the literature. All you have to do is hand it out. And some of these videos are very, very powerful. And then if you need help finding your precinct, we'll try to look it up on the internet for you too. 584-7111. And you can call them too if you want information about where to vote. 584-7111. So,
or the county clerk's office.
Okay, that's good. Well, I think we're about out of time. We certainly appreciate you all tuning in today. Ed Holloway, for the state representative, who has helped us so many times before. I think it's an exciting time to be alive, the way people are beginning to wake up, and with God's help, we can keep it going. God bless you, and tune in again next week for the rest of the news.